There's one single thing that finally helped me stop overeating whenever I was trying to lose weight. Because believe it or not, I used to be one of those girlies that told herself she was going to be in a calorie deficit, and then every single time she would go out to eat or do anything fun, she would overeat and not be in a calorie deficit and go back on her goals every freaking time. One thing that really changes trajectory for me is making a note of how I felt afterwards. So whenever I would do this, I would really sit and feel about how I felt. So afterwards, when I made the decision and lied to myself and didn't follow through for myself, and I like screwed up, quote unquote, again, or told myself I had to start over, I would really make a note of like how I felt in that moment and be like, okay, this sucks. I don't want to do this again. So that actually sunk in and I remembered it, right? And then when I started getting in those situations again where like we were going out to eat or there was a lot of food in front of me or I was at an event and things were like starting to trigger me to like get out of hand to just say screw my goals, I would sit there and force myself to remember and remind myself how I was going to feel later. So I would remember those instances where I felt like crap and I would bring them into real time instead of being so out of sight, out of mind about my goals and just making like impulsive decisions and not allowing myself to feel in the moment. Because doing that and like seriously like being mindless is exactly what gets you in that situation in the first place where you are not like learning how to have like delayed gratification. So I'll basically sit there and talk to myself in my head and remind myself like, Kelly, here's exactly how you felt afterwards last time that you did this. And for real, consciously bringing that pain into real time and being like, okay, like, future me is not going to want to feel this way. Like future me is going to be so happy if I actually follow through for myself and do what I say I'm going to do. And then as soon as you do that and future you gets to actually feel that payoff, like that's an addictive feeling that you're gonna continue doing because it feels good to do that. But like, I know it sounds stupid and like common sense, but for real, if you'll just sit there in real time while you're making your decisions and like think through your head, like, okay, how am I gonna feel later? And use those specific instances where you felt like crap afterwards, bring them into real time and be like, these are the exact feelings I'm gonna have later whenever I'm by myself, spiraling, mad at myself for not following through for myself again, feeling guilty or whatever. And then whenever you can remind yourself how that actually feels in the moment, you're going to be way less likely to make a decision that's going to make you feel that way. It may not work every single time, but it helped me a lot reduce the instances of which I wasn't being consistent.